What is the Philippine live music like in 2025? Let's find out. Hi there, I'm Gtwo and I'm here to talk about the live music scene in 2025 and how far it's changed since I think 20 years ago. So, I've been playing live music since 2008, which is roughly around 20 years, 17 years to be exact. And I've noticed a few things, and well, this is just my observation and my opinion, but feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. So we just had our first gig, first ever live gig, and it was roughly around 8 months in the making. So we've been only able to rehearse, I think, once a month, juggling family and work and all. But when we had our live gig last weekend, I've noticed a few things. And it's not just this past weekend. I've also noticed things on social media when other bands share their content on their platform. First is gear is important. Let me explain. It's not that you need to have the most expensive and you need to have a certain brand, but it's more like you need to bring your own equipment. Just like in our band, we bring our own equipment because we need to have that control. We need to have that consistency in our sound. And I've noticed that bands bring their own equipment. They bring their own amp, their own microphone, their own speakers, mixers, and whatnot. And I think 20 years ago, bands would simply show up with just their guitar, and sometimes they don't even have cable. They would ask to borrow cable from other bands. But those days are long gone, and will have their own stuff now. Next is gear is more accessible now, and uh, there there's been a rise with other lesser known brands which are more affordable and are comparable with the branded materials or branded products. For example, I'm using Sire, which is around the same price as a Fender Mexican jazz bass or P bass, but it's priced quite well that it competes with that, and the quality is really high. You have other brands as well, other amp modelers that are cheaper. And since gear is now accessible to all, it's kind of like you have no excuse to not sound good. There's always a means, or there's always a way to get the sound that you want. Next important thing is in-ear monitoring. It's very important. Take it from our last gig, where I was surprised that the venue had no amps, or they had no working amps, and I realized that without in-ear monitoring, which we had at the time, we wouldn't know how we sound like, because there was no stage volume. But since we had our in-ear monitors, and we were able to perform just like how we did in rehearsal. In-ear monitors very important, and a lot of bands are adopting in-ear monitors. We're currently building our budget in-ear monitor rig. Next thing that I've noticed is your band has to have something to make you stand out. For example, you need to have a certain look, or you need to have a gimmick, or even your music has to be something different, or it has to be not mainstream, because there are a lot of musicians right now, and they all have access to the internet. They all can post their stuff. If your music is the same as them, it will just be parang malulunod lang siya. Walang makakarinig ng music mo. So it has to be something different. It has to be something unique. And last is social media marketing. So what do I mean by that? You have to market your music to the right people. I noticed that when I'm inside a certain Facebook group, a certain band or artist would keep on posting their stuff, where mga kapwa banda and artists lang din nakakita, and they don't get the same exposure because they don't care. They care about their own stuff. They don't care about other people's stuff. Parang you have to be smart about it. You have to build your own brand and market yourself to the right people, to the people who would listen to your music and who would support you. But we had a lot of fun with our first gig, and hopefully we get to perform soon. I'll leave you with some footage from our last gig. Okay, that's it. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and press the like button, and hit the bell if you want to be notified for any new content. And be sure to check out my other videos right here.
Thank you so much. We're G2.